I could just pull the link from your YouTube channel.
Should be able to, hopefully.
All right, let me see if I can find this.
As we're switching, like we're still doing the social distancing thing. Okay. Okay, it says setting up Zoom. Okay, there's a bit of a delay there.
Yeah, there's going to be a delay.
Oh, that's fine. I've just muted myself so I don't hear myself twice. There we go. Okay. Awesome. Sorry, did you want to share that?
Yeah, I'm putting it on Facebook right now.
Perfect. I've actually been having a heck of a lot of fun with just like with all of these like different kind of communications platforms, learning what's actually like what's working, what's not working. There we go. Are you still there? There we go.
Yep, I'm here. I'm just posting this link right here. Okay, I think we fixed the live feature. I'm live with Will Walchak talking about scaling marketing agency. Boom, posted on Facebook.
Wonderful.
All right, let's. I'm just going to let that go. Hopefully, at least the recording will work, and then we could edit that and at least post it for the future. So,
fingers crossed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I gave you the context of what my history is and what we're looking for. And you were talking about what are we selling and what are people buying?
Exactly. Like when someone comes to you, what's the sales pitch that you approach? What are you currently trying?
So we are not actively pursuing business right now. So I'm not doing any outbound marketing. Well, we just started running a new funnel for Butler Marketing Services, but it's just brand new. Right now, 100% of what comes to us. It's all inbound, and it's from either word of mouth, referral, or SEO. We've built up kind of recognition here locally, and people know us for brand identity, so graphic design and websites. And so they're coming to us because they're not positioned properly. They want to elevate their look and their brand, and they are coming to us specifically for that. The people that we have on marketing have come to us for that service. And as we've built a relationship, we've introduced the fact that we actually have marketing services, and that's how we have them on retainer. And we only, again, have a handful of these clients, but now I'm ready to like triple the amount of clients we have on that.
Perfect. Okay. So is the person who's looking for websites or for branding, are they fundamentally looking for something different than what they would be looking for when looking for marketing?
Yeah. So again, in their mind, it's two different things. They want to do more and better with their marketing, but before they go to do more with marketing, they're kind of embarrassed by their presence. And so they want to elevate their brand presence, I love those because we love working on these big projects. Yep. But I also want to now attract a new level of client who might not be necessarily looking like, they don't really care about what they look like. They just want results. We want to get leads. We want to increase sales, and we're not getting any of those inquiries.
Sure. It's what I'm driving at is all of this, like everything that we do, whether it's social media, whether it's marketing, whether it's branding, whether it's a website, it's all in an effort to reach some sort of business outcome. Right? They're looking for some sort of outcome from this. If they get a new website, they should be able to attract more customers, get more sales, make more money. If they're more confident in their brand, they should be able to get out there more, hire more, attract more customers, attract more people, make more money. Right? So I feel like it's where we've started, and this is going back, half a decade as far as like refining that sales pitch. It's making sure that we really understand what is that goal that people are actually looking for. Yes, they want to look better, but there's a friend of mine who applies this methodology. He always says second order thinking. Like, I'll tell you what I want, but if you push me on it, there's probably more to it.
Right. So you're talking about goal and outcome specific rather than service specific. So absolutely. They don't care about marketing or branding or web design. They want more customers or increase their reach. And like, that's the outcome that they're looking for. Is that what you're saying?
100%. They're not designers, and they're coming to you because they've seen You're happy clients. They've seen your work and they know for a fact that what you do looks better than what they have,
Right.
right? But that's true on so many different metrics and so many different platforms, right? It can be visual, it can be video, it can be like photo, it can be social media. They see you, they recognize you, right? So they see your relationships, they see your community involvement. So all of a sudden, it's like, okay, um, whenever we have an opportunity to sit down and to define what the funnel is, people rarely look for. We have people who look for digital marketing and sense, but they're looking for something, and it's on us to help educate them why digital marketing and why what we do is the right way of approaching that problem. So where we take this opportunity. So let's say you come in as a client and you say, hey, I need a new website, or I need social media, right? Does anyone need social media? Does anyone fundamentally need a new website? That's what they say. But as we're having this conversation, what is your need?
Specifically for me,
Yeah.
what is my need? Well, I need to increase the amount of monthly retainers.
To what end?
That is the end.
No. Do you want, like, I can give you a whole lot of retainers, but they're not necessarily good retainers, and that could be
right. Well, so we're looking to tap into this new service. So like what my goal just organizationally is to segment each of my departments as almost like their own business, right? So we've successfully, I think, kind of siloed off our web design team. So like if someone comes to us, I have a whole system and a productized way of doing a website. Same thing with brand identity. The two things that we're still developing in how to do that is video and marketing. There are things that we're doing in-house, but I want to basically build those as like their own business, their own fully functional siloed department. And so specifically for the marketing, like my ask is like, okay, I see you guys have a lot of marketing clients. You guys, and it sounds like you positioned it as SEO, which is really kind of the same thing that we're doing. And so I'm saying, like, I'm just wondering, how were you able to do that, to get how many clients, like 100 clients or something?
Yep, we do, and right now it's down because a lot of our clients are traditional, like, brick and mortar businesses, and
Right.
they're closed, so they've pulled back. But even then, we had a lot of fun trying to figure out how do we keep them in a way, or how do we keep that relationship going? We can talk about that another time. But what you see, and I'll share I'll share your website, my website, just so we can have, I think, not, I don't want to say more informed conversation, but essentially, just there we go. So this is yours, right? You talk about digital marketing. Our conversation the other day started with your website is completely SEO focused. What you don't see is that we actually approach the digital marketing equation from so many different angles. Sometimes people come to us and say, hey, I need web design. It's okay, yeah, absolutely. But did you know that if this is done well, we should be able to, and this is where you start talking about those business objectives, we should be able to increase your revenue, increase your price point. One thing that I always say to clients is, and this is almost verbatim, is people come to us for marketing because it's almost always kind of for them a revenue focused activity. But when marketing is done well, it should impact retention, like employee retention and recruitment, right? And whenever I say that, I can instantly see any business owner with 5 or more people, instantly the light goes off and they're like, oh, my brand does impact not only my clients and my product and my price point, but it also impacts who I'm able to attract, whom we're able to retain. So so that's from a website perspective. Sometimes people come to us for social media or photography. One of our largest clients came to us for photography, and we're like, hey, did you know that these are the opportunities with the with the product that we've created. We can
Totally.
do your social media. We can do your blogging. We can do your press releases and whatever else, right? So there's a whole bunch of other services that we get into, and I don't want this to be about us, but I want to help you kind of figure out how to pivot this. So to what people are buying, and this goes back to the original question, like what are people buying? They're coming to you for this specific quote unquote need that they think they need. But if you push a little further, they're buying results. They're buying the remedy to the thing that hurts them most. And it typically is revenue, sometimes it's profitability. Most times, any company, I'll even revise that and say 2 or 3 people plus recruitment and retention will be an issue. So helping them understand that the entire thing fits together.
Right. Now, what you're talking about is primarily from a sales standpoint. So, and I get that, which is like they come to you for a felt need. I feel I need marketing, or I feel I need web design or brand identity. And then through the initial consultation, when you're actually talking with them, you're able to pivot after you learn about what their actual needs are. And they say, oh, I didn't realize I need brand strategy and brand identity and marketing and all these other services that you're able to introduce. And so my particular question, because I feel like I could do a pretty good job of that. Like, because most people, again, they come to me for a new logo or a new website. That's what they think they need. They don't realize they actually need a strategy driving all of this. And so we'll sell them on brand strategy, and which leads to marketing. But my question is like, how do you exponentially increase the amount of inbound leads for what? And I don't care if they come to me for a specific felt need, because I know that in that conversation we could pivot to what their actual need is.
For sure. The answer to it is understand that only a small portion of the potential audience of your potential sales are looking for digital marketing. A good portion of them are looking for social media marketing. A lot of them are looking for AdWords. A lot of them are looking for SEO. A lot of them are looking for video, so a portion of them are looking for video, for photography. So there isn't a single, and if you're trying to think of like, how do I build this as a funnel? It becomes, let's segment that entire audience and say, okay, this person is looking for a website. Okay, let's give them the opportunity to explore what our website offerings are, but make sure that all of a sudden we talk about, okay, here's the website, here's what we can do. And this fits into your strategy, this fits into execution, this fits into our relationship, and that relationship can be expanded or changed over time.
And so it sounds like you have a lot of different pieces of content. So you'll have content to increase organic SEO for video. And for social media and for AdWords. And so people, those keywords that people might be looking for. So as long as you have content on your site and people find you no matter what they're looking for, then you could have that conversation and pivot. Is that all based off of, are you guys primarily doing organic SEO by creating content on your page, or are you paying for AdWords, or both?
Both, absolutely both. Right now, I think our AdWords campaign is fully stopped right now. That's another conversation about like scaling and growing and retention and recruitment, and growing in the right direction. But it's, even with clients, we always discuss that as essentially like a parallel strategy. So I'll show you a couple things as far as a couple markets, because we're trying to figure out, okay, whom are we going after and what does this look like? So let me reshare my screen here. And there we go. So we had realized that we were making really good inroads with a number of different markets. So for example, cannabis. So we're building up organic content that is cannabis focused, cannabis marketing focused.
Oh wow.
But creating this entire silo that's cannabis related now gives us the opportunity to launch AdWords and social media campaigns that drive to that landing page. That message is going to be very different than, for example, what dental marketing looks like, which...
Holy crap. So you have like subdomains for each market you're trying to attract.
What we're doing is running different tests.
Mm.
right? We're looking at different tests, and we know in the long run, because of the relationships that we've already built, we know that we have a really good competence in dental marketing. So when someone comes in and says, "Hey, I need a website," they're a dentist. Perfect. Here's the sales pitch, and that's the funnel, right? Your funnel for that is very different. Um, Let me show you another one. Here's the photography section. So everything we're fully like implementing this. Like here's our photography. There we go. Oh, I'm going to misspell something. No, I'm trying to remember. It was ah, destination or destinations, I believe. There we go. So we started butting up against a number of different destination marketing places. This was to win RFPs, which we actually now have. We landed a contract 3 years ago. That's renewing again. That didn't go to tender because we managed to land the relationship because we built this competence in destination marketing. We have a portfolio that supports it. So now people who are looking for it, here's this. Or if we believe, like right now, for example, cannabis marketing. Where is it? There it is. Cannabis has changed. The cannabis market has changed, right? What it was a year ago isn't what it is now, or what it was a year and a half ago isn't what it is now. So there's less funding in our market anyway. So okay, so now we get to shift gears. I'm confident it will come back. So it's not like we're shelving that, but just having it gives us the organic kind of the organic reach, and it still focuses on our core competence, which is marketing, web design, branding, whatever else.
Well, so how many of those like subdomains do you guys have?
It's a good question.
Like market specific?
We have a couple different sites as well. We have some like we also have some like landing pages within our site. Actually, let me go back for a second. So we're constantly building them up, and our Patrick, our SEO expert, he's actually having a hell of a lot of fun trying to find different opportunities. So we're not only looking at different market sectors, but we're also looking geographically. So here's Los Angeles SEO.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, location specific.
That's right.
Now,
Right.
are you getting luck with that organically, or is that specifically for your AdWords?
So some of them are short-term strategies, and some of them are long-term strategies. For like, we plan to like we already have multiple locations. So like the more people we put into them, the bigger the markets grow, and the more kind of we shift focus towards it. The more we shift that content onto the homepage, the more AdWords campaigns we run for it. So for example, like when we were full on cannabis marketing, like that was in a number of different markets and a number of different platforms. And a lot of that that percolated through into our portfolio. That percolated through into some of our other copy as well, and into our social media, like what we showed off on Instagram, on Facebook, on any other platform was also there.
Where are your most of your leads coming from now? And when you were scaling, like, do you feel like that's changed as you've grown and now you've built kind of a reputation for this? Like how were your efforts before? Were you doing a lot more outbound marketing?
We actually do very little outbound. We do, I think, what's a good way of saying it? Like, I don't want to sound, I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant, because like, I think like what we're doing is constantly changing, and it's changing partially because of what's happening, like market forces, but also what's happening for us as an agency with our staff, what's happening to us personally. So in the last 2 years, Tina and I have had 2 children. I also, for the last 4 months, I've been teaching at the university, and I just got into a PhD program. So we also run other businesses. So it's a constant kind of flux as to where we're putting our effort, and that's where growth happens. I'm not sure if that answers your question. I feel like meandered a little bit there.
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like, I mean, because the question was like, has your marketing efforts specifically for Highlight changed since you were growing the marketing
Yes.
department and then to now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, one thing that I like to draw out, and I won't be able to do it easily here, but I essentially draw out like a graph. And I know every presentation should have a graph because people love that. But essentially, I draw it in a way where it's like we go through a ramp and we kind of plateau, and then we ramp again and we plateau, and we ramp and we plateau. And the reason why we do that is because like in the ramp is where we add capacity, where we add people, where we add space. Like for example, right now we have the entire building. Up until this COVID thing, we were full. So it's like, okay, so we ramp.
How many employees?
We're up to 25. We're down considerably because we've made a number of changes.
Yeah.
We're down to 15, the last count. But like, so ramp, and then when we plateau, that's where we want to figure out processes. What we kept running into is we'd bring people on, we train them, but we then lose people because maybe our compensation structure wasn't what it was supposed to be, or we'd pay less attention to clients, in which case clients would change or economic factors would change. So we need to focus on better contracts, better customer service, different product offerings and different product mixes. So it's just, there's this constant kind of like ramp, plateau. So we're in a plateau phase right now. We're heavily investing into our processes, our tools, our systems. We talked about all of those over the years as far as like building out our own reporting platform. We built out our own like WordPress theme, our own software, a whole bunch of different things that have helped in the past. But now it's like, okay, now we have all of these revenue streams. Whenever we kind of stabilize out after this COVID thing, we'll hit the next ramp, plateau, hit the next ramp, and every one of those represents a significant leap in revenue. It's stabilized revenue as well.
Yeah.
So years ago, we had a conversation about like getting out of the boom and bust cycle that I think a lot of businesses fall into, where it's like you land a project, things are great, and then complete the project, and then you're looking for another. So it's a feast or famine or boom and bust. But lifting the floor essentially of your revenue and saying, okay, let's figure out how to do ongoing services. Let's figure out how to do hosting. Let's figure out how to do whatever else. And there's like other kinds of retainers and things that help.
One question that I wanted to ask you about that too is because there's the whole debate, niche or generalize, and I know that Highlight has a lot of service offerings, and it sounds like, because I remember at one point, I don't know if you guys are still doing it, have a specific video department that it's its own, basically its own business or department that you guys have a team built out for. What are your thoughts on that? Niching versus generalization. So
in Canada, it's niching. No, it's you know what? I actually I see that from the outside it can look like that we're taking on a whole bunch of different things. But I'd push and say we're actually really focusing on creative, on marketing. So when you think about like what products and services does a marketing agency need to provide, and you're much in the same space,
right?
Like, there are certain things, like if we were AdWords only, if we were focused on one specific market, for example, and one specific tool, say I don't know, WordPress, AdWords, like whenever that market grows, a whole bunch of people rush in. All of a sudden, there's a lot of competition. Price point becomes a thing. So then you need to figure out, okay, how do we differentiate? So we're very focused on like creative integrity, I think really, a really strong creative approach, a really unique and differentiated creative approach.
Right. Yeah. It's not just about building out a digital marketing funnel, you want to make sure that the brand is important in marketing. And so we don't
100%.
want to throw away the brand with our marketing efforts, which is really the same thing as us, because we started with branding and because we realized the importance of it. But now that we're doing more marketing, it's like, well, they kind of go hand in hand. They complement each other really
Absolutely.
well.
Absolutely.
How much yeah, because you said you do very little outbound marketing. So it sounds like most of your leads are coming inbound. Where are they coming from?
So in our, like, whenever we take on a ton of business and a ton of clients, uh, it typically is a lot of referral business. That's where we've stabilized. Like we get rid of the clients that no longer are fit. We focus on those, and then we figure out, okay, let's get more of those kinds of clients, and they're typically related or associated or somehow connected to, like, our clients will be connected to very similar types of clients. Okay, so
Are
let's
you
make sure.
intentional with building those referrals? Like, do you have a referral program, or you reach out to them and ask?
Um, we we don't. We don't. I'll show you. Let me show you something. This is something that this is maybe a bit of a peek behind the curtain or into the kitchen. Let me see if just make sure I can log into this without password, the password portal here. Here we go. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I could see it.
Perfect. So this is our intranet. This is our, like, every single process is documented in here. So whenever we do client onboarding, whenever we set up projects, whenever we create first contact, here are the qualifying questions. So to answer your question, I guess, about, like, do we have incentive programs or referral programs? Yes, but they're so, like, we're so intentional about how they're baked into the process that it's delivered without, like, incentivizing it in a very specific way. It's just, okay, what do we know works? What can we measure? Say, okay, we have 50 of the kinds of clients that we want. If we focus on 2 of them and try a couple different tests as to, okay, what different referral tactics or what different kind of tactics can we try to get additional kinds of business? Which one is going to, like, what do we net? Maybe from one we'll get 1 referral a month, and the other one we'll get 3 referrals a month. Right? Okay, so now let's make that tested approach as part of our standard client engagement approach. So it becomes part of, like, our process, and we constantly iterate on our process.
This is really cool. I just took a screenshot so I could steal this.
Perfect. The good stuff is actually inside, as far as so.
No, I see the lay. It's like your standard operating procedures on everything, and
Yeah,
it's just
like,
a good little directory of it.
for sure.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna, we have something similar, but it doesn't look as pretty as this.
It's ours didn't look this pretty, and we're constantly like, iterating on making it look better. One thing that we're learning is we had this, like, complete, like, really kind of we're really focused approach as to we're going to hire every single person. We're going to outsource nothing. We're going to do every bit of work in house. And what we're finding, and this is where our, like,
Did I lose you? I think I lost you.
unbelievably motivated and great people.
I lost you for a good, like, 45 seconds.
Oh, I
So,
gave it all away there.
well, maybe 30 seconds. But where I lost you was you have, and I don't know if you have or you had the mentality that you're gonna not outsource anything. You're gonna hire everybody in house,
Yeah.
and then it froze for a second.
For sure. So where I was going with that is, like, what works.
Oh my goodness.
we have a different relationship. We're no longer as focused on exclusivity. Like before, it was you're working for Highlight, you're not working with anybody. You're part of the sales team. So, and now it's like, okay, we're actually changing things around because we're like, that model doesn't necessarily work. It worked for the size that we were at the time, but as we're trying to scale, it isn't working. So as I'm looking into this, one of this, like our writing process and our outsourced writing process is actually clearly visible there too. So yeah, project management, there we go.
So are you more comfortable now outsourcing?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So like we now have a roster of vendors for specific kind of work where it's like, okay, if we're over capacity, we have our core group. If, for example, someone's like, I'm at capacity, I know I wanted to do this kind of work, but I'm at capacity and I can't take it on. Okay, let's go to the vendor. Let's work our way down the list.
Are you using things like Upwork, or have you just vetted these people through other ways?
Both. For writing, for example, the platform we're using right now is iWriter, but Upwork has recently, Elance has recently become a conversation. Upwork has become Guru and a couple other ones. But yeah, in different types of creative work needs to be handled differently. As you know, like a photographer can't be in India.
Right.
While a writer can. So the hiring process and the vetting process is different for those, for both of those.
Very cool. So to scale, you're now more comfortable with outsourcing. You've kind of refined your vetting process for scaling. For marketing, most of your leads are all coming to you, and this is just from the longstanding reputation that you've built, which that has changed since before. It sounded like you had to be a little bit more aggressive with your marketing efforts, and now it's just kind of on autopilot. A lot of them are coming through referral.
Essentially, yeah. So especially for the last, like, I want to say 2 years, but 4 months especially.
So what would you recommend to me? So now knowing that, like, assuming that I have the process in place to be able to do an awesome job for marketing, right? And now I want to get 30 more clients on a marketing retainer. What would you suggest?
So Chris Do said something, and I think I've referenced this before, and I don't think it's a Chris Do quote, but if the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So my advice is going to be the same as it is for a lot of the clients that we work with. We really need to understand what our clients are looking for and how we fit into that, and what are we actually providing. So while you're talking about digital marketing, think about segmenting that entire audience. Like, think about the clients that you're working with now, especially in those relationships. How did you get them? What markets are they in? Can you leverage that work to find more similar clients? In which case, build a funnel. Give me an example of a client, like of a sector that you've done that you enjoy working in.
Coffee. I love, coffee, healthcare.
Okay, so
these are two completely different industries.
We can talk about diversified client portfolio, like a financial portfolio, and I think there's a lot of value to it. I think that's the right way to go. But so let's say healthcare. I think that's a really good one, right? If you have a really good understanding of what the healthcare market looks like, there's a whole bunch of like primary, secondary healthcare, seniors, and a whole bunch of different, like in the States especially, it's there's so much variety and so much opportunity. So think of the clients that you currently have. What metrics have you met? What results can you show? What results are other similar types of medical healthcare businesses interested in? And how can you show them off in the right way? So maybe there's going to be like healthcare marketing or healthcare.butlerbranding.com, right? As a landing page that allows you to test, okay, do I need a specific Facebook page? Kind of like we have for our photography or videography. Does it need to be a separate ads campaign? Because healthcare people, if they see branding and web design, clearly shy away. That's why I'm making sure that you understand what their flow looks like, what their journey looks like, and how to guide them through the right journey is important. So do you want me to be more prescriptive as far as like what I would change? Or
Yeah, that'd be great. So I have two main things that I wrote down here is from what I gathered is broaden the top of your funnel to increase the amount of inbound leads. So making it to where it's not just one service specific, but it's outcome specific. They're looking to get more sales or to increase leads, whatever the outcome is. And then the
right.
other thing is show off your expertise in the industries you have success in by having those specific case studies of how you can help them and show yourself as the expert in that and really niche down in each industry, but having separate kind of presences for each of those.
Exactly. It just I think it's really useful to almost, and I will actually do this periodically. See how, uh, like, try to understand how your customers think, and you can ask them questions, and they'll tell you what they searched for, what information they found useful, why they called you, who else they called in when they were vetting you, why they didn't pick the other person. And the better your relationship is, the better your access to them is to ask those kinds of questions. And then you have full visibility into what their journey is and what information they need along the way to actually make that decision
Yeah.
and perform the call to action.
You were going to go prescriptive, and I think you were going to
Yeah.
tear something apart on my site.
I'm let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. And then please, if it hurts, if it's like, if you don't want me to do it,
No, I'm fine with it. We get a lot of compliments on our website. I'm pretty happy with it. The marketing page that I sent you is brand new, and that's all me. And so I'm not married to that at all. And so if we need to change any of that, in fact, I think I've shared it to my team.
Yeah.
And to you.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. In that case, this is a great place to start. And I feel like if there's anyone that's on Facebook or on YouTube, we're going to read the comments through this afterwards. So I want to see what this is actually going to, like, what information do people want to see? So let's talk about healthcare and coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think those are really good markets to get into for a number of reasons: consumables and products, and then healthcare is something that's only going to be needed more and more as time goes on.
Right.
So imagine you are the decision maker in a healthcare organization, and you get to your landing page. The healthcare companies that you work with, what services do you provide?
So we've done everything. So brand strategy, brand identity, web development, and marketing. And we've been able to. They initially came to us for a design project, and through a strong relationship, they were open up to us and said that their global business objectives were to increase their amount of patients, but also to increase their amount of patient encounters, because they offered a number of healthcare services that a lot of people didn't know about. And so we helped them position their brand, and that was not only through strategy, web design, identity design, but it's also through consistent marketing and creating content and putting it out there. So we've literally done everything for them. And we have some really good numbers and stats to show for them.
Perfect. So say, just focusing on healthcare and coffee, let's say you were only going to care about those, and that's where you want to grow. What information should you have on your homepage?
Well, if I was just focusing on those two industries, I should have case studies specifically for those, and so it should be pretty upfront.
Something I say to all of our clients, I'm like, you have really 5 to 10 seconds at most to convince people that they're in the right place, right? So here is information. Like, the reason why we have SEO packages right now is because we're like, okay, that's where the opportunity is right now for us. But here it's like, okay, build your business. I like it. Good message. But build your website. But you could easily have attract more clients, attract more patients, reach more clients, reach more patients, right? Reach more coffee drinkers, reach more consumers. Find more people. Engage younger customers by using social media effectively. Learn what we've done using TikTok to access younger markets for these specific products, right? And that helps them self-select into specific funnels where you can see how people actually flow and what information they consume, right? So here we are on the homepage. If I'm like, because right now, if I were a healthcare decision maker, I'd be like, uh, I'm not really building a business. I don't need to build a website. You'd have lost me at this point,
Hmm.
right? Because you're not mirroring my needs. Tina always talks about mirroring, so I figured I'd throw that in. But you're essentially, we need to mirror what they're looking for and present exactly what they're looking for. Here's what it is. So that statement has to be very specific. We started recently working with a clean makeup, like clean vegan organic makeup brand. They have multiple stores in Canada. They do really, really well, but their storefronts got closed down, and they're like, we need help on the e-commerce front. And their e-commerce message talked about, like, it had this like grungy kind of hippie girl in what looked like a kind of a Christian uh, like a mission, kind of like, it looks like she was doing kind of like mission work. And it was like talking about like, and we're like, that we changed that, and instantly, like, we went from $3,000 in sales to 17,000 in a single month. We're like, okay, the message needs to be so clear. And
Right.
you can actually see this. Take a look at analytics, like the bounce rate. See, like, play with the message. Do you ever use a tool called Hotjar?
I personally don't. I don't know what my digital marketing director is using. He's doing all the analytics behind the scenes and kind of looking at those things. So I'm not sure if he's using that tool.
Hotjar, really great tool. We use it on our. It actually allows you to record sessions, so people come to your site and you can see where they click, what they click on, how long they stay.
Oh yeah, and it shows like the hot spots of where they're clicking.
Right.
Like yeah, I've seen this before. I think
yeah.
I don't know if we still have that on our site, but yeah, we have used this before.
Yeah, it's a really good tool, because then you can actually see, okay. And then one thing you can do, which I think could be useful. So say, let's say we improve our messaging on the healthcare and coffee front. Let's say we have different sliders or different messaging there. Now let's go after that in like reactive marketing. So let's look at Google AdWords. Here's what people are likely searching for. We can do some. Then we can also look at LinkedIn and target those people, and then see, okay, for the last 100 visitors to our website who came in from these platforms, has their journey lengthened? Has their time on site increased? Has their bounce rate decreased? So you can run these little micro tests. And the reason why we have these landing pages is because we're constantly running those kinds of tests, right? So here's coffee, here's medical, here are the case studies, and here are the results. We've increased, I don't know, Mount Sinai hospitals, new patients, and whatever else by 200% in 2 months. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so maybe that's going to be enough of a call to, or enough of a statement to get someone to click on the next like call to action. Did they? If they didn't, let's play with the message. So let's go back to the site. There we go.
That one. Yeah.
Perfect. So there we go. So build your identity. So and the reason why you guys do really good work on this front, and I'm not saying kill that work. It's just abstract the message for the kinds of clients you're looking for. There we go. Branding doesn't have to be hard. Right? Who's the audience for that message?
People who are wanting to stand out and connect with their audience in today's noisy digital world.
For sure.
So yeah, it's not. I'm definitely not talking to any one specific industry in here.
Yeah, you're talking to a very specific size of consumer.
Yeah.
Right, decision maker. You're generally talking about relatively like small, medium-sized businesses. If you're talking about the difficulty of it, a lot of the medium to large-sized businesses have already figured out there are agencies that do it. In which case, what they're looking for is mastery and expertise. So going back to some of the original questions I was asking you, what I was trying to drive at is what are people buying? They're buying mastery and expertise. They're buying your knowledge, your design eye, your ability to design and market and deliver results. And that's what you need to convince them of when they get to the site.
I love it.
Cool. So yeah, just going through the journey, just there you go. The process, strategy, design. So I think a lot of this stuff is really informative from our perspective. Here's the process that we walk through, and that's good for a sales meeting. But for someone who's looking at this, it's like, do they really want to know? You have 10 seconds to communicate. You have an elevator pitch and say 30 seconds to communicate to them. Do you talk to them about the process? Do you talk to them about the steps they're going to take, the contracts they're going to have to sign? Or let's get excited about creating a brand you're going to love, and that your clients are going to love, and your patients are going to love, and your patients are going to want to talk about, and that is going to attract more people. Let's get excited. Let's get enthusiastic about these things. So I don't know. That's. I feel like I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here.
No, keep talking. I'm taking notes. So like, I
So,
asked
yeah.
for it.
No, it's good. Yeah, and take everything I say with a grain of salt, please, because like there's yeah. So as far as showing off work, so if you're that decision maker, at what point do I stop? Or what information do I want to see to continue? And at what point do I just like, oh, you know what? I'm convinced that after 2 sections, they know me. They have enough medical or coffee experience that whatever happens, they're one of the top 3 I'm going to call to get a quote from. Perfect. Here's the contact form. Here's the phone number. Here's the chat widget that's going to be on the website that they'll reach out through. Cool.
I love it.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'll stop sharing the screen right now because I feel like the concept is there, and I think it's like. Do you understand where I'm going at?
Yeah. So I put, again, recapping so far, broaden the top of the funnel to increase the amount of inbound leads, show off your expertise in the specific industries you have success in or are trying to attract. Yep. Be more upfront with your first message, and you want to appeal to mastery and expertise. And when you say branding doesn't have to be hard, that's a good insight that the companies that we're trying to attract have already figured out that it is hard. And we've already kind of figured that out. We're looking for someone that is exuding mastery and expertise. And so
absolutely, who's already done it well. Exactly. So
I feel like I have some good takeaways from this. And yeah, man, I could continue talking forever about this. Like, do you have any final words of advice or any final thoughts on this?
100%. So here's, and this is the reason why I wanted to record this and actually share it is we're helping other agencies grow and other creatives to get into this space. And what I think we often overthink this. We often think about it from our perspective. But I think the biggest takeaway is think about the consumer, think about the customer, think about what their needs are. Be empathetic to what they're looking for, and always listen. Not necessarily to what they're saying, but like that second order, what are they looking for? What hurts? And what can we do to help them move on to the next interesting challenge? Right? So I think that's the biggest takeaway, that I think just focus on the goals, identify the goals, and focus on the goals.
Love it, man. Well, thank you so much, Will, for letting me again,
pleasure,
pick your brain, and I'm looking forward to implementing some of these things and then letting you tear it apart again.
No, absolutely. Right. Anytime anytime you want to have a conversation, I'm more than keen to. And as you looked into our intranet, that's the information that we're going to have accessible to other creatives to help them understand how to deliver work in a way that's like that makes them happy and makes their clients happy.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. Say hi to Tina for me. Play with the babies, and be blessed, brother.
Thank you, sir. All the best, and stay safe.
All right. See ya.